Grand Rising, everyone. It's Shay Seeking, and I'm back with another book share. Um, I want to welcome anyone that is new to the channel or the page, and say welcome back to everyone who is coming back to join me. I have been doing some behind the scenes stuff with this whole Nat Turner thing. And so I was looking for something else, and I've been digging around in this whole Library of Congress, um, archives or whatever. And I have been finding some interesting stuff. I ended up putting something up the other day, but for some reason, it's the craziest thing is I was having problems while I was on the website recording. And to be honest with you, um, I don't know. It could have been the internet connection. But for some reason, I was having a lot of trouble. So I ended up doing a whole 1 hour and 30-minute read and book share. And I uploaded it, and it's still saying on YouTube that it's still only 95% uploaded. I've tried to do it 3 or 4 times. It's not coming through. But the funny thing is that if I click on the video, I can see the video in its entirety. And I believe that so I took the link and I shared it on Facebook, and people can see the link and watch the video from what I can see so far from the Facebook page, but it's still not showing up in my feed on YouTube. So I'm going to have to redo something, maybe break the video in half and put one half up and one half, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to have to split it into two, and it's going to be an abrupt ending. And then there's going to be a random beginning on number two. So I'm going to try that, going in the background and pulling it out again. And if that doesn't work, I don't know what to do at that point. Maybe I'll put the link down here and you can still see it somewhere in the realm of YouTube, but not basically on the channel or in my feed, or I mean in my on my page, on my YouTube page. Okay, so the video will not show up for some reason. So anyhow, enough about that. And it was about the Indians of Canada. And it was some very interesting stuff in there. So, anyhow, let's go ahead and look at this. It says this is something about the future containing great lectures on the future colored race. Nat Turner's Insurrection, the new wait, am I seeing this? Okay, no, the new insurrection. Oh, let's see if I can pull this in a little bit. Oh, okay, that might be too much. And it's kind of, messed up throughout the book or whatever, but we're going to try to see what we can see going on in here. Okay, so it says The New by G.O.H. Burks. So I'm guessing that this is Nat Turner's, and then somebody did a new, just like the Old Testament, New Testament, Old World, New World. Funny. So it says attorney and counselor at law. Okay, New Albany, Indiana, 1890. Okay, so let's go ahead and look in here and see what we can find. Again, for anyone who is just interested in getting the link, you don't want to sit here and listen to me the whole time. I should be able to stuff the link. Really? Okay, let's go to the next page. Okay. No. Okay. Here we go. So let's go ahead and I'll probably stuff it in there so you can just take the link and go. For anyone else, stick around. Let's see what it's talking about, and then maybe you can go ahead, or you're interested in looking into it furthermore. So let's go into the preface or the preface. In honoring these lectures to the public. Now, see, anytime we're talking about a public service or something, a message that was to be carried out, I find it very funny that for some reason you guys know what I do here with the Bible and history, and that I am on I have a theory that the Bible is just not um, presented to us how they say it was. I like to say sometimes that it's not as old as it is, but I think it confuses people when what I'm really trying to say is consider the fact that in the Old Testament, we may be talking about the old world, and in the New Testament, we may be talking about the new world. And we have dates and a couple of, somewhat receipts on why we're coming up with this interpretation. Okay. So everybody that is indoctrinated by Christianity or religion is going to automatically feel some type of way about that. But those who are open right now and you are receiving the light and you are going through this awakening and you are going into information to find the truth for yourself, because we are in the age of knowing, not believing anymore. So this is time for you to take all of these tools, not looking at them for what people have told you they're supposed to be of all this time, especially when it comes to religion. Now it's time to go ahead and be a big girl or a big boy and remove religion from the text. The word is the word, religion is the indoctrination system that has been put up, that is valued more, and what it says is valued more in the churches and by more people in this world today than they think. The religion is the problem. The is probably the problem. Okay, so we're looking at this whole totally differently. Okay, so again, you're not going to understand this if you are still indoctrinated with religion. But if you've left religion, don't get upset because we're using this Bible as a tool the same way you use any other information or any other text of antiquities, in the way that you use any other information that is alternative to mainstream information to find the truth. And the truth is your truth. It doesn't matter what it means to anyone else. As long as you have a sense of knowing and you've used discernment and wisdom and the knowledge that you've received to come up to your interpretation, then do that. Okay. And I think religion doesn't allow you to do that. And it has it set up where if you do that, the people that are in said religion will totally go against you and think that you need help interpreting something because you're not seeing it the mainstream way that everybody sees it. Okay, so that's a huge problem that we have. And I want to be someone that is helping those who are leading to this point here because they see something that everybody else does not, to go ahead and do so. So there we go. In offering these lectures to the public, it is through a feeling of regard to those whose, again, I'm not the perfect reader. I'm not anyone that is scholarly in any way, shape, or form. I am a seer and I am a more spiritually in tune being. And the thing is, I'm not really even used to reading out loud. I'm one of the people that told the teacher, you can go ahead and pass me being a smartass in class because I didn't want to read in front of people. So if you find me stumbling, just bear with me. So, okay. So it says, feeling of regard to those who love liberty, freedom, and equality. The book is nothing like the one first proposed, but it is on the same subject and told in a much better, now, much better to who? I don't know, and quicker manner. Okay, so much now is in print in this class. Okay, most of it is not presented to us, but okay, in book form and not in lecture as it should be. These lectures in this book should, I'm thinking it says, be read by and with a good mind to reason. So if you're stuck in religion or any source of indoctrination, you're not going to be using reason to the fullest power. Okay. So, and to think and judge what our future may be. Without a doubt, these lectures will be read extensively. Um, and I don't know anyone who's been presented with these. We didn't get them in school. So, and it is hoped that the words expressed will be remembered and appreciated by all thoughtful and intelligent people. Okay, that's a thoughtful. If your mind is full of thought and you're asking a lot of questions, it may be for you. Um, People as it is designed. Okay, so these are for people that can look around the corner. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and go outside of the box a little bit, in order to see. So that's who this is for. Okay. So it's that the future of the colored race as delivered at Indianapolis, April 16th, 1885 at Olive Baptist Church. Now, okay, when I'm in the biblical text for some reason, okay, some of these dates, when some of these lectures or these speeches or these edicts or things are sent out, first of all, when I'm reading, especially now that I'm going to read this, I'm going to be seeing what I can find that might lead me back to the Bible. When I'm in the Bible, I look for what might lead me back to real life history. And let's just remember that the dates, the calendar was changed in 1700s, I can't remember. So we're not actually on the time that the Old Testament would have been in. So it's really tricky when you're looking at that. You might have, if it says the third month, you might be looking at March. But back then, March would have been, you may have to then pull out your Hebrew or Jewish calendar and look at what that date would be, or what month the third month would be in that form. And you may be able to find something that might surprise you. And then also, when we're looking at 1885, another thing, if it says there in some type of text, even in the mythical or the other forms of history that we're given, okay, if it says 885, sometimes we need to add the one back so that we can take it back to where it would be. Again, because if one day to us is 1,000 years to God, then that might say something a little bit different to you, okay? Especially if you've been on this channel, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, the future of the colored race is a subject vast, grand, and important, okay? Oh, good. And an important one, but without complication in a degree to affect her movements, okay? Her movements, okay? What shall her future be? I guess they're calling the colored race a her, okay? Just like some people might say that the not Christian church, but the goodness, Catholic church or something of that nature might be a her, okay? Just like we call America her, okay? So what shall be her future be as a race? Okay, so we're talking about the race. As old, again, as any, we challenge the history of any nation to furnish a parallel. When history is properly reported, all were once in the same evolutionary condition. We may look back to the soil, okay? Now we can look at the dry land, the earth. Let's just keep that in mind while we're looking at this, okay? The soil, the clay, the dirt, the red mud, you know what I'm saying? All this soil when we're talking about the earth, okay? We know that now in the biblical aspect, lots of times they were talking about people when they were talking about the earth, okay? And it just may mean that we're talking about the oldest people that were there in these certain places that they were going, okay? Meaning the Aborigines, okay? That's the closest we can get to it, because origine would just be it, but then ab means you were sent away or taken away or put down from or descent of the origine. So they placed the ab there in order to, show that, okay? So there were not just Aborigines in Australia. Matter of fact, they didn't start using that term until 1885 or so for the Australians. So who were they using it for first? Especially when we're talking about the American story, okay? So the soil upon which we first inhabited. And again, when we're talking about inhabited, inhabiting is going into a place, inhabiting or dwelling, okay? Or seeding or planting your feet there or planting your roots there. You know what I'm saying? Or branching off, okay? So these people that inhabited, okay? Now it says for Aborigine, the first inhabited, the first, the oldest, before anybody, okay? Okay, so I'm just not sure. You can take it how you want to. And that's why I'm not here to tell you what it is, what it ain't. I'm just telling you what it looked like to me. So we find that genus, and then here we go back to talking about the gene or the genesis, or you know what I'm saying, the genome or whatever. But the prime or primitive root would be the soil. See, and so this is kind of tricky already, taking me on the tailspin, because a lot of different things are reaching out to me that, again, if you're on the average basis, you're going to say, oh, the soil upon which we first, oh, they're talking about the land of America, and you're not going to get it. We're taking it deeper, okay? So had taken its first step into evolution. Now, what is evolution? You have the Darwin theory that many take as truth. You have the in the beginning, or the creation story, that many people take as truth. Neither one of them have been found today to be the factual information, but this is what they teach you in your school, in your indoctrination station, to keep you away from the truth. Okay? So, is evolution just something saying that they were taken from, and it's funny how they say monkeys to man. Okay, so what does that mean? If they were calling so-called black, darker colored people beasts and animals and all these other things, and I have different, propaganda field articles and writings and sketches and stuff of, you know, making so-called black people look like some kind of animal or ape or beast. And there's actually one where there's a aborigine, okay, or a darker view male with a white so-called Caucasian female, and it says something about the beast or something, okay? So it makes it like they're, and then again, so how did these people come to? Just like in the Bible, we're talking about of the blood or of the waters. When most of the time we're talking about of the waters, we are basically talking about people that had something to do with coming here on the waters to the shores. When we're talking about flooding, take that into concept of light, of God saying in the beginning that he saw light and he darkness, and he wanted to make it light. What would you do if you found a place filled with dark people and you wanted to inhabit that land? You would plant people in there in order to evolve or change the race, splicing or breeding or whatever you might want to call it, okay? So again, let's finish reading. Okay, I'm trying not to get off track too many times. So had taken his first steps in evolution. What I'm just trying to tell you is that we don't have to take the necessary mainstream way of looking at things. Okay, you're smarter than that. You have more to give than that, especially when you're in an age of knowing. Okay, nations come and go, powers rise and fall. The last shall be the first, the Alpha and the Omega. Okay, and the first shall be the last. Again, what? Could we be talking about those who have taken people into slavery will now go into some form of slavery? Okay, so let's see. She went down by the law of the great creator. Okay, but those bones shall rise again. Okay, she went down. So who is she? We're talking about she. She as being as a race. So the colored race has gone down by law, meaning you are dead by law, okay, of the great creator. That is their creation story in Genesis on top of a nation that is already there. This is the nation that they created by splicing with the original people of the land and then taking their children into perpetual slavery or indentured servantry or whatever you might want to call it, okay? Or just paper genocide and using things and terms in order to remove you from your status and place other foreigners that came from the water. And now this is where we talk about, like I said, when we're talking about the coming from the waters, there are some that came here from the waters. They were created somewhere else. They were a mix of those people. They came here and they stayed. They kept their bloodline. They married each other's brothers and sisters or whatever. We have these bloodlines or whatever. They stayed into that form. But there are some that came here and then ended up mating with the original people here. And then you have another group of people. So don't get it twisted, okay? We're all human in that sense. But don't forget who you came from. Some of you, and some did not come from, okay? So okay, so she went down by law of the great creator, but though these bones shall rise again. And that's what we're doing. Again, we're not descending anymore. We are here to ascend, okay? We're going higher, okay? We are growing to be a race. Again, this is what we're talking about in Genesis when he, and I'm not saying this is the exact time in 1885, no, but I'm saying these people are even talking about past times prior to 1885, okay? So once they were able to grow on their own, this is where we're talking about the herb yielding seed and the grass and all this shit in Genesis. You could go ahead and listen to what I'm saying and then go reread it with those words into perspective and tell me that you don't see something there. Okay? So, growing to be a race more and more distinguished in virtue, education, and other attainments. A race aided with sympathized with by all. Come on. Come on. Stop it. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay. And by, okay, let's see. Okay, to be a race more and more distinguished Sorry.